Welcome to episode number 360 of the Marine Layer podcast. It's a mailbag episode, so we'll open it up and answer your best listener questions.
Reminder to you guys, if you're watching these podcast episodes on YouTube, go do us a favor. Go hit subscribe. It really, really helps the channel if you do, along with leaving a like on the video and dropping a comment. If you're listening, go download. You can rate and review. Leave a 5-star review over on Apple and Spotify. And then go over to our website. I mean, if you want to find all of our episodes, they're all on our website, you guys. marinelayerpod.com. You can scroll through and see them all. There's also our merch that's on our site. We love seeing people wear the merch. So, hey, go get yourself some. And then you can find our Patreon there as well. And then follow us on social media at marinelayerpod.
Let's get it rolling.
The pitch from Acevedo. A drive deep to right field. Down the line. The Mariners win this game 2-1. The dream lives. They're going to the playoffs. One more from Jansen. There you go. Left field. We got a tie ball game. Julio. Oh, baby, what a moment. Tie ball game at 7-7.
And we welcome you to this episode of the Marine Layer podcast, part of the Just Baseball Podcast Network. Recording here on Tuesday evening, February 3rd. Lyle right now is basking in the wake of a Super Bowl weekend upcoming down in the Bay Area. What do you think you're going to be doing right now?
As people are listening on Friday, I think Friday my brother and I dedicated that time to going over to Radio Row and the Fan Experience Convention Center to go do all that throughout the day, and then maybe explore San Francisco a little bit too. You can't get into Radio Row without a media pass, but it's all in the same building. So there's some people that we should know that are going to be down at Super Bowl week that you and I know who I'm going to try and go see. And then, yeah, just go see what the Fan Experience has going on. So it'll be good. I am going to bring my mic. I'm going to bring my mic, or our mic, I should say. And, I'll have my phone with me. So if there's a chance for some content, I'll do it. We'll just see if there's a chance for it.
Well, Brendan Donovan cannot be traded for during halftime. We avoided that conundrum.
But what if he was traded to the Dodgers for Kyle Tucker?
What would you be more excited for if the Seahawks won? Kyle Tucker or Seahawks Super Bowl?
Somebody should ask me that as a mailbag question. I'm actually sitting here thinking about it, which, by the way, if we needed to tie up any loose ends from FanFest, we covered most of it on Wednesday's episode, which if you haven't listened to that, you should go check it out. There was a lot of people coming up to me and trying to console me at FanFest. It was like, Lyle, I'm sorry. It's like, I heard about Kyle Tucker. I just want to put a hand on your shoulder and say, it's going to be all right. And I said, no, it's not, but we'll get through it.
I mean, there's been a lot of hypotheticals coming out like about winning the Super Bowl or something else. That example is Kyle Tucker or Kyle Tucker winning a Super Bowl. One of our friends today asked us, would you guys rather have $10,000 in cash straight up or a Super Bowl win? And I was like,
I said Super Bowl. You guys.
Well, I said Super Bowl this year, but the way the question was framed, because most of our friends in this chat don't have a team in the Super Bowl. In 2027, would you rather have your team win the Super Bowl in 2027 or $10,000? And what I answered was $10,000.
Because you think the Seahawks are going to win on Sunday.
Yeah, and then at that point, like, winning a second one's cool, but if you did it the year before, the thrill is not the same.
I guess. And that's right, but I think for us, it should just be posed as 2026 Super Bowl or 10K. Or maybe the question should have been, would you take one Super Bowl in 10 years or $10,000, like one of our other friends suggested? Which...
Oh, $10,000.
Really?
In the next, like, what one Super Bowl that could be 10 years from now? Yeah, I would take $10,000.
I mean, $10,000 is not life-changing money. It's real money, but it's not like you're getting offered $100,000, like it's a year's salary, or you're not getting offered $1 million. $10,000 is, it's a couple vacations.
But if you were to tell, like, if they were to win the Super Bowl in 2035, that's when it would be. Or I would get $10,000 today. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I would take the money. Like, I can't get excited about something that would happen 10 years from now.
What if it's in 2029?
I'd take the 10 grand.
I'm an experiences person. I would take the Super Bowl. Would you take...
You see what really helps them playing in the Super Bowl right now? That's not included at all in this discussion. Because everything is like hypothetical in the future. Like the 10 years projection, like $10,000 or a Super Bowl within the next 10 years, this year doesn't count.
Fine. I'm changing up the question. $10,000 or one Mariners World Series in the next 10 years?
Mariners World Series. That one is not difficult at all.
Okay, good. Because if you were about to say the other answer, I was about to say, fuck you.
There's a difference between those two, and we've talked about it on this podcast. And I've seen many media members talk about this around Seattle. People would trade losing the Super Bowl this year for the Mariners winning the World Series in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. And we would too.
Yeah. Because that's something that's a thrill we have not gotten to experience. If the Seahawks win on Sunday, and we do have a mailbag question about the Super Bowl, it's going to be at the end, so Lyle and I will actually have time to actually give our thoughts on the big game coming up, because, again, Brendan Donovan trade's over. Next week, we're going to be full go previewing spring training and ramping up for the season to start. But there's a pretty big game on Sunday, so of course we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about it at the end of this episode.
Guys, think about this. By the next time I'm back, or I should say by the time I'm back from the Super Bowl, so for Wednesday's podcast, the WBC pitchers and position players will be in Peoria. We're here. It's time to start ramping up, finally.
But between now and then, there's a really big game, and we did carve out some time to talk about it. The difference, the Seahawks won their first Super Bowl in 2013. I remember that night very vividly. It was one of the coolest nights of my entire life. It was so much fun. I'm going to be really excited if the Seahawks win on Sunday, but I can't guarantee I'm going to feel the same. Do you think you'd feel the same?
Yeah, because I'm going to be there rather than just watching at home.
If you were watching at home, do you think you'd feel the same?
Probably not. We were a little younger. We never seen any of our teams win a title. The first one's always the coolest. So if I was watching at home, probably not. But yeah, I would say you are validated in your feelings if that's how you're feeling on Sunday night. You're going to be really excited, but maybe not quite the same as 2013. Honestly, you know where your most excitement might come out is if we're at the parade next week. Because
yeah, that'll be fun. It'll just be a big party.
Right. I mean, 500,000 people in downtown Seattle just celebrating. How many chances in your life do you get that? You just don't. And not every city goes
Unless
out.
You live in Boston.
I was going to say, not every other city goes all out like this. Remember that ridiculous, stupid-ass LA parade for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl?
Because they don't have fans.
Right. And Seattle obviously does. So to see something like that go down for a parade would be awesome. And I think we're going to go on Wednesday if they're in the parade. But all that being said, yes, of course we'd trade a Seahawks Super Bowl for a Mariners World Series. I still honestly believe, for as much buy-in as there is in this city for the Seahawks, the team that drives the most passion is the Mariners. I believe that. I still believe at its core, Seattle is most passionate about their baseball team when their baseball team is good.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree, which reflects my decision to win a World Series over $10,000.
Yeah.
And it could totally be that maybe because I didn't expect the Seahawks to win a Super Bowl this year, I'm not as, married to the allure of winning a Lombardi. As cool as it is. $10,000 sounds pretty nice.
Again, it's not life-changing money. I want the experience.
Okay. But do you think that's different because you're going to be there?
Maybe partly. But at the same time, what am I going to do with those $10,000? I guess you can save it, but that's not all that exciting. You could take a couple expensive vacations, but I don't have much interest to go to Europe or places like that. As you know, maybe some of our listeners don't know that, but yeah, I'm not that interested in going around to see Europe.
Not
TJ
a traveler.
wants to see it.
Not a traveler.
I know. TJ wants to see it. I could care less. No, it's not that I'm not a traveler. I don't have interest in vacations where you're going around sightseeing all these ancient things. I would rather spend a week on a beach.
So Lyle's like the 49ers. He likes Cancun.
Sure, Cancun, the Caribbean. I don't know if I'd ever have the money to go to Bora Bora one day, but it looks pretty nice.
You go hang out with Tom Brady and Alex Earl in St. Bart's.
Where is that? St. Bart's.
It's in the Caribbean.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure, let's go with that. Imagine Tom Brady and Alex Earl just sitting there like those photos that surface, and I'm just third wheeling next to him, and I'm just like, can you guys believe Kyle Tucker didn't pick Seattle?
It's like the meme of the dude sitting at Chase Field with the sunglasses on, like talking to the girl.
Oh, that's in Houston. But yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
So
it would be that. Anyway, I would take the experience because I'm a big experience person in terms of the Seahawks winning it all.
I love experiences too. The thing is, you could use that $10,000 for experiences, especially because since I've seen a Seahawks Super Bowl and I haven't been somewhere I really want to go, like I could have that experience instead, and I can now have two things I've done for the first time.
You mean Europe? Because you really want to go to Europe.
Sure, yeah, and splurge a little bit.
All right. Well, sure. You know what people should splurge on, by the way?
But as we've been very consistent on, we are all in to win a World Series, whatever it takes. Yes. Money aside.
Oh, yeah. It's like we've asked people at the ballpark about what would you give up to guarantee a Mariners World Series. I give up a whole lot of things for a Mariners World Series. I'll tell you that. Which, by the way, you mentioned splurging. You know what people should splurge on? Our trivia night. Like eating a bunch of food and having a bunch of drinks and showing up at trivia night come Wednesday. Wednesday, when you're listening to this, it's 5 days away, February 11th. Over at Queen Anne Beer Hall, it's going to start at 7 p.m. You want to splurge on a night out with your friends and have a chance to win some pretty cool prizes? Yeah, come on out to Queen Anne Beer Hall. It's going to be a blast. We got a bunch of Mariners trivia all geared up for you guys. We're going to have a bunch of different topics, a bunch of different categories. We're going to make it really fun. We're going to go around and talk to a bunch of different people, like all of you guys that are at the event. And there's a grand prize for the ultimate winner. You mentioned it on the last episode, right? We got a grand prize.
Tickets.
Well, not just any tickets.
Opening day tickets.
If you want a chance to go to opening day for free, your best shot might be to show up at Marine Layer Pod Trivia Night and try to get those tickets yourself.
Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So we'll see you guys there, 7 p.m., February 11th, Queen Anne Beer Hall. Before we get into the mailbag, Lyle, as you know, and I hope everyone knows by now, if you want priority for mailbag questions, a.k.a. you love these mailbag episodes, you've always wanted your question to be answered, but every time you submit it, you can't win the luck shuffle. You can't get your question answered. Well, the way to get around that is go to our Patreon, patreon.com/MarineLayerPod. The perks of being a patron of the Marine Layer Podcast, you get access to mailbag priorities. Your questions get answered every single week. You get access to ad-free episodes, and you get to get on a video call with Lyle and I once a month. It's great. It's your own mailbag episode, just with us. No one else has to hear it. So the way to do that is you go to patreon.com/MarineLayerPod and sign up, and there you go. You're on these mailbag episodes. Let's start off with a banger. Rob on Patreon asks, name your top 5 and bottom 3 Mariners managers of all time.
Who's Rob?
My dad.
A very, very loyal Marine Layer Pod listener. Wanted to know our top 5 Mariners managers and our bottom 3 Mariners managers of all time. AKA, he wants to ask a straight sicko not delusional, but sicko, just psychotic type question. Because when you go down the list of the 21 Mariners managers ever, good Lord.
4 of them have winning records all time.
3 of them have made the playoffs. 3 out of 21.
And only 4 of them have managed over 3 years.
That's insane.
It's Lou, Scott Service, and then one guy who I can't remember managed 4 seasons, and then everyone else is 3 seasons or less.
I think Daryl Johnson's the 4 seasons?
Yes, 77, 78, 79, and 80.
Yeah. I mean, that is an absurd number.
It's not great. And Daryl Johnson made my list, but you're going to have to wait and see where I put him. Lyle, Let's start with our top fives. Who are your top 5 Mariners managers of all time?
Lou's obviously number 1. Scott Service is number 2. And then I want to opt out.
You can't. You got to finish it.
Yeah, but I want to.
I know you want to, but you have to finish the top 5.
Like, I don't think anybody else even deserves their name mentioned in a top 5 ranking.
Well, that's what makes this so fun.
You're waiting for me to put Dan Wilson on here, aren't you?
I'm waiting to see what your decision is, because you sounded a little undecided earlier. And
Well,
clearly with him not being in your top 3...
No, that's not... So far, he's not in my top 2, because I've had Lou Piniella, Scott Service.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the problem is there's only been 3 managers to make the playoffs. Unfortunately, there's not been more managers to make the playoffs for the Mariners. So it does make this list really hard after the first couple. Yeah, I guess Dan Wilson's going to be at 3 because despite only managing 1 year, which is part of the reason I almost figured he should be an incomplete for this because we just don't know, he did make the ALCS. So, yeah, again, there's questions if that was in spite of his decision-making or not. But obviously he did something right because they won a lot of games. You can't have all the talent in the world without a manager who at least, is having some impact on the team to help them win. And obviously the guys in the clubhouse like playing for him, even if a lot of the decisions drive us nuts. But yeah, what am I going to do? Put him below guys who have never made the playoffs? Yeah, he's probably got to be number 3. I'll put Lloyd McClendon at 4 because, again, he almost made the playoffs, which is what we're ranking here. And then he had a good roster. I know he didn't put it together. It was Zarenzik, but I mean, yeah. Lloyd McClendon's probably sadly going to be number 4 on this list. And then number 5, this is where we're getting into really sad territory. I think we may have the same guy. I put Bob Melvin simply because despite him not being good in Seattle, he was good in other places as a manager. So he's going on this list for things he didn't do with the M's.
I think we might have to cook up a graphic of these rankings, see what the people think.
I think that's a good idea. So again, if you want it in a more compact order, my top 5 is going to go Lou Piniella, Scott Service, Dan Wilson, Lloyd McClendon, Bob Melvin.
All right, my top 5, Lou's number 1. I have Dan number 2 because he made Game 7 of the ALCS. Scott Service did not. Yes, Lyle, your question is completely valid. Was that because of Dan? Did the team do it? Would the team have done it regardless if Dan was there or not? But because he has the only team that made it that far, farther than any team in Mariners history, he will get my number 2 spot. It's not like there's some big gap between him and Scott Service. Scott Service is number 3. Bob Melvin is number 4. And Lloyd McClendon is number 5. Bob Melvin's at number 4, not number 5, because he actually went on and was a pretty good manager elsewhere, just wasn't great with the Mariners. Well, and Lloyd was fine. He's fine. He's one of 4 managers in Mariners history with a winning record. So he's got to be on here.
I mean, there's a reason Jerry Dipoto didn't stick with Lloyd when he took over the GM job. It's because Lloyd was a complete boomer.
Yeah, he was as old school got.
Jerry and Justin are obviously very forward-thinking baseball people. I don't think that was going to mesh with, again, not just an old school manager like Lloyd, but like in every way.
Yeah.
Just complete old school.
Now I want to hear your bottom 3.
I mean, pick your poison, dude. You can put whoever you want in your bottom 3. You made the point to me when we were going through this about Daryl Johnson, who I just have so many more memories of some of these 2000s managers and how just horrific they were when they were here. But when you point out that Daryl Johnson won less than 40% of his games as a manager, I think he has to be number 1.
So Daryl Johnson, I'm the same way, number 1. I mean, one of 3 managers to get more than 4 seasons with the team. And the other two have the top 2 winning percentages in Mariners history. And Daryl Johnson's got a 384 win percentage.
So I'm putting Mike Hargrove at 2. He was a complete disaster. I mean, he had a team that should have been actually good for a couple of those years. He had Sexton, he had Beltre, he had Ichiro. They had actual players on that team. And they were horrendous. Horrendous.
Okay.
So he's going to go at number 2. I'm pretty sure he left in the middle of the season. At some point in time, he just decided that, you know what? I'm done. I'm just going to quit middle of the year.
Wow.
And
classic mid-2000s Mariners.
And then I'll probably put Eric Wedge at number 3 because he was also pretty bad.
All right. I stayed old with mine, so I have Daryl Johnson as number 1. Maury Wills was really, really bad. Not only did Maury Wills only make it a grand total of, where is he? In terms of winning percentage, this dude managed, 82 games as Mariners manager. This is a man who, in his book called How to Steal a Pennant, Maury Wills claimed he could take any last place club and make them champions within 4 years. Some of the blunders Wills had while being manager. You think Dan makes bad decisions. Wills called in a relief pitcher in a game even though he had no one warming up. Seems like a problem. He held up another game for 10 minutes while looking for a pinch hitter. And he even left a spring training game right in the middle to fly to California. Just no care. No care in the world.
He, as one of our friends would say, Maury Wills that day in spring training had better things to do, he decided.
And clearly he must have been much better at other things than he was at managing. So he finished the 1980 season with a 20-38 mark. But then was fired by May 6th of 1981 after starting the season 6-18. If you claim that you could turn a last place team from in 4 years from last place to a world pennant winner, but only managed to win 31% of your games, yeah, you deserve your spot on this list. And then the last one I had was Bill Plummer, who was so atrocious, the Mariners fired him after one single season and hired some guy out of Florida named Lou Piniella.
Well, I do think we need a graphic for this. Let the people debate.
Okay. That's going to be good. I'll set a reminder for that so we have that to come out on Friday afternoon. God, that's a good. Thank you, Dad, for that question. That was good. Making Lyle rank Dan Wilson, always a pleasure. But this also, like, the subject of Mariners managers in history it's hilarious.
What do you mean making me rank him? Don't we have the same aligned vision about the in-game decisions he makes?
Yeah, but we've had a disagreement about like where he ranks. Oh. I threw out the idea to you as the Mariners are like parading their way to the playoffs last year. If Dan wins a World Series, is he the greatest manager in Mariners history?
I mean, what am I going to say? No, if he's the only manager to win a World Series, I guess. But it feels a little odd to say, no?
It does, yeah. When we were coming up with these lists, you just seemed to have a little bit more trouble putting your foot down on where Dan was.
Well, and most of that, to be fair, is he's only managed 1 year. If Dan Wilson manages 3 years and the Mariners win 90-plus games during all 3 of them, or average 90-win seasons throughout the 3 of them, then yeah, of course, what are you going to say? But he's only managed 1 year. And
if he wins like 75 games each of the next 2 years, then he is off my top 5 list. And he slides probably right behind Lloyd McClendon in Mariners history. Yeah. Lloyd McClendon, but nicer.
Right.
Put that on a quote card.
What, Lloyd McClendon wasn't the put your arm around the guy's shoulder and say, I've got you?
What did Salk say about McClendon? He thought like showing emotion was not part of the job? Or like showing comfort?
Well, certainly Lloyd had no emotion when he was chucking bases out of their sockets and screaming at every umpire. Remember when he got ejected out of a Mariners game, I think in 2015, and he screamed at the first base umpire, and then he went and screamed at the second base umpire, and then he went and screamed at the third base umpire, and then he left.
But wasn't it all performative?
I don't know.
Was he doing it to try and fire his team up, and then the team just kind of rolls their eyes? Like, what do you think Robbie was thinking while Lloyd was getting himself kicked out of the game? Was he just like, all right, man, I mean...
I'll tell you what Robbie was thinking. He's thinking to himself, I'm putting up my numbers, and my check clears on Monday.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. We're definitely making a graphic for that. Next question comes from Josh on Patreon. Josh asks, now that the offseason is pretty much over, how would you rank the AL West teams 1 to 5?
Mariners are definitely 1. And if you saw what we either posted on social media on Tuesday, or if you saw the Fangraphs odds, which is where we got these numbers from, the Mariners have the best World Series odds in the American League, ahead of the
Hang
Blue
the
Jays.
banner. Hang the banner.
I mean, there ain't that many banners.
No, there's not. There's plenty of room.
People think the Mariners are going to be really good for every good reason, and I think they will. So, yes, they're going to rank atop of the AL West. I will put the Astros behind them at 2. But, man, I think the gap's closed between Houston and Oakland. Or I guess not Oakland anymore, just the A's. I really think the A's have a chance to be a wild card team this year. They're going to have to pitch, and their starting pitching is a major, major question. But that's a really fun lineup with a young team that likes playing together and is in a hitter's ballpark. I would not be shocked. I'm not saying they're going to go out and win 90. I wouldn't be shocked if the A's won 83 games, 84 games, and got in as one of the last wildcard teams. So I'll put the A's 3rd, I'll put the Rangers 4, and the Angels 5.
I have Mariners 1, Rangers 2, Astros 3. The gap between the Rangers and Astros is kind of negligent. If you look at Fangraphs projections, they project them both to be about 500. I think the Astros projection is like 81.5 wins, and the Rangers projection is 80.5 wins. They think the two teams are mid, and I would tend to agree. Both can pitch. Both lineups are old and lacking. So
Can the Astros still pitch behind Hunter Brown?
They have some depth behind.
I mean, we don't know what Imai's going to be. And then after that, yeah, you've got with Christian Javier. I don't know when Ronel Blanco's supposed to get back this year from his Tommy John, but maybe you'll get him back at some point. They don't have a ton. I really don't think they have a ton.
In terms of like who they had on their roster last year, yeah, I mean Lance McCullers is not what he used to be either. We'll have to see. Their bullpen was really good last year, but bullpens are also sort of what tends to be less consistent year to year. Here's what the Astros do have. They could potentially be having a healthy Yordan Alvarez this year, which is a huge bump. The Rangers do have a pretty solid pitching staff. Their offense, though, I don't buy for a single second. Like, Corey Seager is getting up there in age. They traded Marcus Semien. There's no guarantee Brandon Nimmo in his 30s is going to be a stud offensive player again, especially in the ballpark, which, by the way, was the hardest to hit in, I believe, in all of Major League Baseball last year, even more than T-Mobile Park. And then the rest of the roster is just kind of... Remember when we were talking about, what's his name, Michael Hellman at the end of the year? And I was bitching and complaining because Michael Hellman was single-handedly keeping the Rangers in the playoff race? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trusting that over a full season.
I think you're leaving out one Ranger because you didn't mention their second-best hitter behind Corey Seager.
Rowdy Tellez.
Not quite.
Josh Young?
No, I'm talking about Wyatt Langford.
Oh, well, yeah. But two hitters don't make a lineup.
No, they don't. And you're banking a lot on Young to bounce back. You'd be banking on Nimmo to have a good year. You'd be banking on a lot of guys. It's a different look now to that team. I mean, Adolis is gone. I think Jonah Heim's gone. Right? I think Jonah Heim's gone.
That's a good question.
I think so. I thought he got DFA'd. But it's a new look now, and I don't really buy the new look Rangers. You're right that they'll pitch because they have DeGrom, they have Evaldi, they have Rocker, they have Leiter.
He's a free agent. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Who am I missing in that Rangers rotation? I'm missing a big name.
Which ones have you listed?
I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. I could just look it up. But
DeGrom.
DeGrom, Eovaldi, Rocker, Leiter. And they traded for Mackenzie Gore. That's who it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the rotation could be really good. It's a boom. It's a bit of a boom or bust, though.
But you're taking the Rangers and their pitching over the A's and their offense because you have the A's ranked pretty low.
I mean, I feel like I have all three teams ranked relatively close. Just because the Rangers are 2 and the A's are 4, it could be like 4 games separating all of them, and that's not that much.
Yeah.
Like the A's offense is good enough to get them to 80 wins, 78, 80 wins, which is roughly where their projection is. That pitching staff sucks.
It's pretty bad.
They cannot pitch, and they have a ballpark which is not going to help them pitch at all. So if you can't pitch, you need to have the greatest offense of all time to outweigh a pitching staff like that. And as good as their offense is, they don't have the best offense of all time.
They do not. I just wouldn't be that shocked. Maybe this is a hot take. I just wouldn't be that shocked to see the A's come out as one of the last wildcard teams. I think they're a first team.
I feel like the middle 3 teams in this division, when the Mariners play them, will all roughly be about the same talent level for a variety of reasons. One's youth, one's proven, one has always been the best, but not really anymore. In summary, the Mariners should not lose this division to anybody, given the roster they have in front of them. They are much better than all the other teams. And of course, the Angels, the most clueless franchise on planet Earth, in last.
More clueless than the Rockies?
What's bad about the Angels is that they're like half competitive and they manage to get good players, and they don't have a ballpark that hurts them in a development stance from, like, for example, the Rockies. The Rockies are always at a disadvantage because they can't develop pitching. The Angels don't really have an excuse. They're just inept.
Yeah, that's true.
And Perry Minasian's been there how long and is still employed. He's terrible at his job.
Well, you might want to climb the ladder when you're looking toward blame, even above Minasian.
Yeah, Artie Moreno.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it stops and starts.
Yeah, if you guys have been seeing the stuff about the, was this the? I think it was. No, it wasn't the. I'm not about to get us caught on anything right now, so I'm not going to mention. There was like a case that went on about someone's medical insurance, but I'm not sure who that was about.
What do you mean caught? I mean, you're just talking about.
Was that about the Angels?
Yes, I think you're right.
Okay, so yeah, I was erring on the safe side because I wasn't sure. Okay. The Angels did eventually start paying this dude's insurance, but they had to go to court to get it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know who you're talking about. If you go to Sam Blum's Twitter, read any of his articles, who's the Angels writer for the Athletic, that's where you'd find it. Yeah, I don't think you're not getting caught with anything. You're just...
Well, no, I didn't want to accuse them of something they weren't doing.
Got it.
Which, yeah, puts you in some sticky water sometimes. An example of what a good organization does when a player is struggling with medical things. The Dodgers used to have a guy on their roster by the name of Andrew Tolles. He's really struggled with his mental health for seasons now. And the Dodgers have been paying his insurance in full without asking him for a single thing.
Mm-hmm.
The entire time. And he gets his free insurance to help him through that. Like, that's what good orgs do. Like, every organization should do that. Health insurance, in the grand scheme of things, in terms of player payroll, I really don't think is that much. So, yeah. That's why the Angels are last. Long-winded way of saying the Angels are last place in my 2025 predictions for the AL West.
Feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, feels right. That's a good way to describe it. Next question comes from Tanner. Tanner, welcome back to Patreon. He has a question. With the season coming up, what 3 prospects do we think could potentially make the big leagues for the Mariners?
So I'll lock in 2. You're going to see Colt Emerson this year. I think that's pretty well known. And I think we see Michael Arroyo at some point this year. Once you get past those 2, it does get a little interesting. If you had to pick a third, either you're going to go down the pipeline a little bit, and you could see somebody like friend of the pod, Tyler Cleveland, who is a reliever and has put up some good numbers and probably has a chance to get into the Mariners bullpen at some point this year. Or if you're looking at more of the high-end guys, maybe you'll see one of Cade Anderson or Ryan Sloan at the end of the year. They could pitch in the bullpen if they make the playoffs in a scenario like that, and if everything goes right. But that's a big if. Colt and Arroyo, I would feel pretty confident about. And otherwise, I would probably go down the list a bit and look toward one of those reliever prospects and somebody like Tyler Cleveland.
I had the same first two. Arroyo feels like a more likely scenario than Laz. Despite the fact they're at the same level, Arroyo did not have the swing and miss issues at Double-A like Laz did last year. And if Laz comes out this year, the numbers are better in Double-A, but the strikeout rate's still like 28%, and Arroyo puts up similar numbers like he has his entire career as being one of the most consistent prospects the Mariners have in their system. The Mariners might lean Arroyo, who's now learning left field, so they could put him in a corner or just DH him and feel like he has a higher floor at the big league level this year, if they're picking between those two. In terms of anyone else, I thought of the same archetype as you. I thought reliever. Like Tyler Cleveland's definitely an option. I mean, could someone like, I know we keep bringing him up, like a college reliever that they just drafted, like Lucas Kelly, make his debut, especially if the guy is only going to be a reliever with the Mariners organization? Why waste bullets in the minor leagues if your stuff is playing up and you're getting like swings and misses? Like if you start in like high A or double A and you throw kind of like Troy Taylor's route where you throw 40 to 50 innings of just dominant ball, why not just go to the big leagues? Because relievers are pitching in such short sample sizes that the odds of them getting exposed are a little bit lower.
I'd be fired up to see Lucas Kelly in the big leagues, as would you, because the man's a Sun Devil. He was one of our guys the second he got drafted.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it just so happened he found our account too, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to meeting him in spring training when we go down there, because we haven't talked to him in person before, but we haven't had a Sun Devil in the system since we started the podcast. I don't even know the last time they had a Sun Devil in the system, period.
Tuvey Goswich.
Oh, God. I'm talking about coming through the system as a minor leaguer.
Good question. I would say Mike Leake too, but also not coming through the system. That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
There hasn't been a lot. So that's Lucas Kelly being in the system is a big win for us.
Another name who's been kind of popular, I thought, in terms of reliever, Teddy McGraw.
He's just got a long way to go.
He does, but if he's a reliever, the path shortens a lot.
It does. It's just he spent all of his time once he got back on the field last year back in Everett. So he took a little while.
It only takes 3 months of really good relief to earn yourself a big league spot, especially with the kind of stuff he has. I don't think it's quite the same as what it was at Wake Forest when he was a projected first-round draft pick with all these injuries he's been through. But if he's amping it up out of the bullpen, I mean, people have thrown this idea out there. I can't remember if it was Joe Doyle or someone else or our friend Arm Layton who threw this idea out there. It's like, if you know Teddy McGraw is going to get hurt and his arm's a ticking time bomb because of all the injuries he's been through, why not just put him in the big leagues until he can't pitch anymore?
Yeah, if he can prove that he's big league ready, it's an idea. I'll throw one more name out there. He'll have to hit a little better in Double-A this year and improve on the year he had last year, but could we see Jared Sundstrom at some point?
Sure. Ahead of Arroyo, I would imagine.
He's got a little more minor league time and is older, so sure, that would make sense. He's going to have to, again, hit a little better in Double-A. He OPS 670 in Arkansas last year, so he'll have to improve on those numbers, but the Mariners need outfield help at some point. He feels like he'd be on a decently short list. And if he hits well in Double-A for the first, 6 to 8 weeks of the year, you'll probably see him get up to Tacoma. And then once you're in Tacoma, you're a call away.
Him and Arroyo those two have the same essentially path next year. And Laz, we'll throw Laz in there too. They all three, as outfielders, have a similar path to make the big leagues. They need to hit in Arkansas first, earn a promotion to Tacoma, and then at this point, wait for an injury. We'll see what happens. Performance could indicate changes earlier, but as of right now, would probably take an injury. Because otherwise, the only spot that those guys would play, I think, is left field. Because is Sundstrom supposed to be a good defender? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't. I want to say he's an average defender. MLB,
but he's a corner outfielder.
Just to look really fast, they give him a 50 field on Pipeline. So fine.
But he's a corner outfielder.
Yeah, he's not a center fielder.
More likely than not, then he would play left field. But the Mariners have a left fielder in Randy Arozarena, so they would need, for these guys to play, Randy would need a DH. Because I don't think they're sticking these guys in right. Definitely not. I don't think they would stick Laz in right. I don't think they would stick Arroyo in right either.
I mean, I should say this. I don't think Sundstrom's played no center field, but I don't know if he... What I mean is I don't think he's going to project as a big league center fielder.
And it's not that he would take reps away from Julio. It's, could you play him in more than one spot given his defense?
So Sundstrom last year played 13 games in center. He played 34 games in left, and he played 53 games in right. So yes, in a pinch he can play center field. He's probably not going to play a ton of center field in the big leagues.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. Those outfielders, though, and the relievers are definitely less likely than Colt Emerson, essentially. Colt is the only real prospect we could sit here right now and guarantee is going to be in the big leagues.
The big year for a lot of these guys that everybody's fired up about, 2027. I mean, you want to talk about a big year for the Mariners farm system? 27 is going to be the big year because that's when you should see Laz, you should see Sloan, you should see Cade. Feels like you could definitely see Johnny Farmello in 2027. That's going to be a massive year for Mariners prospects because those four feel like that's where their timeline is. And, I mean, the Mariners are going to have a lot on their hands next year because they're going to have to figure out how to get all those guys up if they're proven to be big league ready and where they're going to slot in.
Let's move on to the next question. This comes from Yaya Wolf, who we met this weekend at FanFest. Very nice. Thank you for your support. On Patreon, the question is, how will the WBC affect spring training? She says they're planning to arrive last few days of February, but should we switch to later in March?
If you get there the last few days of February, you will see everybody for the first few days. I think March 1st, roughly, is where a lot of these WBC guys are going to head out. So if you're there at the tail end of February, you'll see them in the first few days. So that's how the WBC will affect spring training. When March 1st hits, you're going to see that big conglomerate of players head out to their national teams for the World Baseball Classic. They're going to get a couple practices in. They'll do a couple scrimmages. Actually, though, I think a couple of the scrimmages are in Arizona. So if you want to go see any of those WBC scrimmages, I believe the U.S. specifically is playing a scrimmage in Arizona at some point. So
they're doing it at the spring training complexes, though, right?
Are they? Not Chase Field?
It's a good question. Because I think USA's playing the Rockies in one of them. Salt River's pretty nice. Salt River Field's where the Rockies play. Like, that's fine for an exhibition.
Sure, yeah. So I would say it won't affect your trip too much because if you want to see all the main guys, you'll see them in the first few days. But if you want to see them the full time, you could either start your trip earlier or you would go roughly the last week of March because that's when everybody would be guaranteed to be back. Because the WBC will end roughly, I want to say March 18th.
The week before the season starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not a lot of time.
Did Team USA plan this on purpose, or is it just a coincidence that they scheduled an exhibition against the Rockies knowing they wouldn't need any of the Rockies players?
That's a good question. I mean, it's like when Alabama schedules Louisiana Monroe.
Are the Rockies getting a paycheck for this game?
They should. Because whether they run out their big league team or their prospects, it's going to be like $1 million to nothing.
I would also agree with Lyle that the end of February is probably the best time to go. Because even if you go at the end of spring training, I mean, guys are really kind of winding down then. And it's less likely you're going to get to see prospects in big league camp as well. Because once the prospects go to minor league camp, they're at a different part of the clubhouse. They're away from the fans more. Their games aren't as public. It just makes it a little bit tougher for that. So if you want the full experience, last week of February when we're going is a really good time to go.
For sure. And once you get toward that end of March, you're going to see a lot of the main guys play a lot less in spring training games, especially the ones that get back from the WBC and will probably need to rest. So between all that, They'll start to get a little worn out by spring training. By the end of March, they'll be ready to just get the season started and get back to Seattle. In late February, they're usually pretty juiced up, and they're usually pretty fired up to see all the fans and to get back into action and to get back to playing games. So I would say that's a good time period.
Next question comes from Bryson on Patreon, but before I read his question, I just need to give a shout out to Bryson. Bryson has been one of our OG listeners, and this week he has been manifesting for 2.5 years. His @ on YouTube. I'm sure he's changed it. Bryson, you can message us if it's changed. Since we've been getting more YouTube comments, and I haven't gotten to read quite as closely to all of them. But for the longest time, Bryson's YouTube @ was the Brendan Donovan trade. And this past Monday, February 2nd, 2026, Bryson's manifestation came true.
I can only envy a manifestation like that because mine did not.
So he's now changed his Bryson's now changed his @ to, I believe, the TJ Friedel trade. So we'll see if that ends up working.
I mean, TJ Friedel's a good player. Why not?
Yeah, why not? More TJs within the Mariners ecosystem. That would be great. But thank you, Bryson, as always, for your support. His question is, do you want Brendan Donovan on an extension? If so, what does that look like?
I mean, I'm always down for keeping good baseball players on the team for a long period of time. But I feel like the Mariners want to see a year of Brendan Donovan first before they make a decision on that. And if you were going to extend him, money-wise, I would guess it would be something like 4 years and $15 million AAV. Something like that.
I kind of compared this to JP Crawford's extension, which was 5 for 51.
Okay, so add on an extra year. Why not? I think Donovan might cost a little bit more than JP did, but if you were going to make it 5 years for $75 million, that feels like a pretty reasonable extension for Brendan Donovan.
But it might be closer to 3 for 45 because he'll be, 31 when he's a free agent?
Yeah, but he's going to argue he wants the years, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he does, but he could take 3 guaranteed years instead of what he would get on the open market. I can't think he's good enough to get 5 years on the open market, maybe? If you signed him today, you could give him a 5-year deal because then that's only 3 free agent years.
And how long is he going to be able to keep playing all these different positions? Because in 2 years, you're expecting both Cole Young and Colt Emerson to be staples on this team. And if that's the case, where does Donovan play at that point?
Yeah, good point. I would say it's a little bit more than JP's extension. But the WAR totals for the two when they signed their extension, like JP for his career was worth about 8 WAR total when he signed. Brendan Donovan right now has been worth 11 in 4 seasons. JP, I think, had 1 extra year, but also didn't play a whole lot in his first couple. You never know. I mean, Brendan Donovan, when he was a rookie, had his best year and played a full season.
Brendan Donovan could be the Mariners left fielder if that's what you decided you wanted to do when you extend him, because if you're not going to keep a Rosarena, it could be something like that. But it also doesn't feel like you give him 5 years to play left field for a half decade in his early to mid-30s. So I think the Mariners are going to have to let this one play out a little bit before they make a decision.
Next question comes from SWL1984 on Instagram. And the question is, which predictions have we absolutely nailed and which have we absolutely failed?
I feel like I nailed the Rob Refsnyder prediction. We haven't seen him play yet, but in terms of saying, look, the Mariners are way too left-handed heavy. All the bats on the trade market they're targeting are left-handed heavy. They need a right-handed bat that can hit lefties, and Refsnyder makes all the sense in the world. And then they went and signed him. That one was pretty good. What are some of my bad ones? I mean, there's so many.
I mean, you nailed Brian Wu.
Oh, that's true. I've been on that hype train a long time. Long time. I mean, I said, what was my class, or what's the line I always use? That I think he has the highest upside in the entire rotation. And It's looking like he may be that. And I thought he has, I guess the line I really use is he has a chance to be an ace at some point, and that's what he was in 25. So sure, I'll go with those two. My worst ones, I mean, does one Kyle Daniel Tucker have to factor into this?
Yes.
Well, maybe that. What are some other really bad ones I've thought of? I mean,
I can think of one I failed, like the 2025 season. I said the Mariners would miss the playoffs. I was wrong. Very wrong.
I mean, I've got another one for you, but let's see if you have it on your own list.
Oh, I mean, Teoscar Hernandez, I was way wrong on. I thought Teoscar, we both did, thought Teoscar was a perfect fit for what the Mariners needed. And man, was he just mediocre.
That's not who I was thinking of, but yeah, we both got that one wrong.
Oh, Colton Wong, I think I got wrong too.
Yeah.
I think we said, oh, this is a great fit.
Still not who I'm thinking of.
Oh, I know what I was right about, but I'll save that one.
So again, I was right, I'll say, on Wu and Ref Snyder, and then we're listing off some of the ones that we both had wrong. I definitely got the Kyle Tucker thing wrong. You're still not getting the one that I'm waiting for you to say.
That we were wrong on.
Well, this is you.
Oh, me. Well, I was right about Abe Toro. So I'll take that victory lap.
I still
throwback to our bet, man, with Jared Carabas. That was great.
I was just about to say that Abe Toro Red Sox jersey on you would have just hit like no other. To see Carabas send that to you,
he hit one foul, but yeah, no. Okay, so I was right there. What was I really, really wrong about?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
You banged the drum very hard for Mitch Garver.
Oh, yeah. Not great. That one was not good. I got to stop using the words perfect fit, and I probably used it for Josh Naylor, and if he sucks this year, then you can blame me for it. I mean, when Mitch Garver signed, I said this is the perfect Christmas present for the Mariners. This is the arguably the most slept-on hitter in the free agent market. I mean, he doesn't strike out. He walks. He crushes. He's going to fit right into your lineup. He's going to be an everyday DH, and he's going to produce. And, well, it is one of the 5 worst contracts the franchise has ever handed out.
Yeah, it's too bad. He was actually pretty nice any time we'd ever talk to him, but the player just didn't work.
Yeah, 100%. If there's anything else, maybe we can address it in a future episode, because I think the fact I went on TV last year, Aaron Levine asks me straight up, TJ, are the Mariners making the playoffs? And I go, nope. We had it clipped. We were sitting on that clip, waiting for an opportunity to use it. Never got to use it.
Honestly, we probably missed a couple opportunities because we could have used it after Josh Naylor walked off the Mariners when he was a Diamondback. We probably could have used it after that Yankee series when Brian Wu took a no-hitter into the 8th and they blew it and lost.
We could have used it on that road trip before they went and won 17 of 18. Yeah. After they got blasted by the Rays when we were boycotting. We could have put it out then.
Oh, yeah. Do people remember that? I think we were transparent with people during that Rays series. It's like, so we're sitting here podcasting, but we've taken a break from watching the games.
It's like let's just be transparent with the people. We didn't watch the games.
No, because we decided we needed a break.
And then see, if we did it after that Rays series, it would have been perfect because then I would have been like memed to hell. And that's fine. That's fine with me.
That was pretty good. But you were right about more than just Abe Toro. I'm just blanking on the spot. What are some other ones that you got right?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. No, we say a lot of shit over the years.
You can drop it in the comments for us, anybody listening, if you remember some TJ takes that have really aged well. Because there are some. We're just also both airing ourselves out for a bunch of the bad ones we've had.
All right, let's wrap up the episode. Mitchell, longtime listener on YouTube, says, call your shot. Who wins the Super Bowl and what's the final score?
Seahawks win 31-13. Patriots are frauds.
Seahawks win 24-10. Sam Darnold, Super Bowl MVP. There are no plays from the 1-yard line, and the Patriots are frauds.
Love it. Now, does the game stay close, Or is it 24-3 in the fourth quarter and the Patriots score a backdoor touchdown?
I think the only way this game breaks open this weekend in the Seahawks' favor, if Rashid Shaheed takes another kickback for a touchdown, then I think it'll be sometime in the second or third quarter, a 2-touchdown game. The defenses are going to make this tough. I know the stadium doesn't matter quite as much, but yeah, I just kind of have a feeling there's going to be lesser offense. I feel like the Seahawks know they have a talent advantage across the board. Essentially, like, I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know what the Patriots single unit that is better than the Seahawks. Quarterback, I would say. Like, I think Drake May is better than Sam Darnold. Sam, against the Rams, though, was incredibly good. And if he plays like that again, I don't think the Patriots have much of a chance.
I will say this. We're going to learn if Drake May is actually good next year, when the Patriots have to play all these first-place teams and not a bunch of cupcakes, including a Chargers game in the playoffs where they scored 1 touchdown, a Texans game where they scored 24 points because C.J. Stroud threw 4 picks, and they got 3 of those picks inside Houston territory, and a Broncos game where they scored 10 points against the Jarrett Stidham-led Broncos and won by 3.
And the only reason they got that touchdown is because the Broncos turned it over deep in their own territory, right?
Stidham threw a pick.
Yeah.
Or he turned it over. Maybe it was a fumble, but he turned it over. You want one bold prediction? So my favorite Seahawk is Devin Witherspoon. And for as good as he's been, it really in his entire Seahawk tenure, but especially this year, where he has just been an absolute lockdown corner, sans a few plays in that Rams game, in the NFC title game. He has been unreal all year. The one thing he doesn't really do a ton of is pick the ball off. Part of that's because people don't throw at him, but he doesn't pick the ball off a ton. How about Sunday's the day he takes one to the house on a pick 6 against Drake May, who has not seen a Mike McDonald-type defense all year? How about it?
Yeah, you saw the Texans defense, but again, he was getting set up so well, the Texans defense didn't really have much of a chance.
Yeah, but they're different. So now we're getting into football talk here. The Texans defense is really good. Houston and Seattle were the 2 best defenses in the league. The difference is the Texans pretty much just bully people, and they'll just outstrength people, and that's how they end up having really good defensive games. But Drake May has not seen the headache of a scheme that Mike McDonald defenses put together for teams week after week. He hasn't seen that.
So if I'm going to continue my peruse across the board here, quarterback, I would say Patriots. Though again, if Sam plays really well, I don't really think that matters because the rest of the rosters are as I will lay out. Offensive line, wash. Wide receivers, Seahawks. Running backs. If Charbonnet was healthy, it would be closer, but I'd probably say Pats because they have 2 healthy running backs who have been on the team all year. No, I'm not missing anything there. Tight ends, I'll say the Seahawks because I couldn't tell you who the Patriots tight ends are.
Isn't Hunter Henry?
Hunter Henry, is it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Defensive,
Wash, maybe.
Defensive line. Look, Milton Williams and Christian Barmore are really good for the Patriots, but you ain't got the depth in New England that the Seahawks have.
Yeah, I agree. I would give it to the Seahawks defensive line. I would give it to the Seahawks linebackers, and I'd give it to the Seahawks defensive backfield. And then on special teams, the Seahawks have the best special teams unit in the league.
Patriots DBs are really good. Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez are pretty close, and then I think Carlton Davis had a good year for the Patriots. Marcus Jones had the pick 6 the other week. I don't know. It's probably the Seahawks because their safeties are so good, and the Patriots don't have an even worry. But, the Patriots DBs are good. I would definitely give the Seahawks the D-line edge, though, because for as good as Barmore and Williams have been for the Patriots, you can put Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy right up with those guys. And then if those guys essentially cancel each other out, then what's left? The Seahawks have remaining players that can make a dominant front four for basically any other team in the league, because you take those guys away, which you wouldn't because they're your 2 best guys on the line. But still, then it's Chenna and Jaron Reed, and you've got Peely.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, and I didn't even say DeMarcus Lawrence. Yeah. Mike Morris. It just goes so deep on that line.
Well, it's going to be fascinating to watch Patriots fans watch a Seahawks team whose hopefully not going to be incredibly injured like the last time they played. I feel like people like to forget when Brady beat the Seahawks and they threw it on the 1-yard line last time. You had Jeremy Lane breaking his arm and tearing his ACL in the first quarter after picking off Tom Brady on the goal line. Earl Thomas had a busted shoulder. Cam had a torn MCL. Sherm had torn ligaments in his elbow.
Yeah,
if I remember that right?
Remember that play against the Packers? It was late in that NFC title game. He stuck his hand in to try to break up a pass, and it got twisted, and he fell to the ground.
Yeah,
he essentially played the rest of that game with one arm because, I mean, he could still cover, but he couldn't pick the ball off. I think that's the reason some of those Seahawks players were so pissed after that interception happened, was not just the play call, but also because it's like, we just played on all these injuries, these absurd injuries, and you do that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Cliff Averill got concussed and left the game, and the Patriots couldn't move the ball when Cliff Averill was in the game because he was destroying the offensive line of the Patriots, and then he got concussed, went out, and all of a sudden the pass rush dipped.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was 10 years ago. I mean, I think the Seahawks are the one. I think the Seahawks are a better team. The only reason I think it might be close is that the Seahawks just play it conservative, because if you know you're the better team across the board, you don't need to take as many risks and know that you're way more likely to win the game than the other team. How many risks are they going to take? Like against the Rams, Seahawks are not a more talented team than the Seahawks, and the Rams are probably about equal in terms of talent. So clearly, like, Mike McDonald has to let Sam Darnold, like, just go. Him and Clint just need to let Sam just cook, and he did, and he was great, and he was awesome. Against the Pats, a team I think the Seahawks are better than, yeah, maybe do they try and run the ball more? Do they try and sort of limit the casualties? It's a good question. I'm not sure. Like against the Niners, they didn't have to open up the playbook at all. They just kicked their ass up and down the field.
I mean, again, this is a Patriots team that not only played cupcakes all year, but they really have not looked very good all postseason. I know they played some decent defenses in this postseason, but they didn't look good against the Chargers. They didn't look particularly impressive against the Texans, and they didn't look good against the Broncos. Drake May's taken 15 sacks in this postseason.
So then on top of that, they're now going to have to face the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL, which is a pretty big step up from the trio of teams they've faced this postseason. So yeah, last time the Seahawks played the Patriots, it was the 2 best teams in the league pretty confidently, and that game could have swung either way. I don't know if I feel the same way about this game.
I feel pretty good, man. I hope I'm not wrong, but I feel pretty good.
Which is also why I might think to our topic at the beginning of the episode, where it's like winning on Sunday will be really, 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 really cool. But do you get the same satisfaction?
Nothing's the same as the first, but
no,
win a Super Bowl.
I know. And sometimes you'll take a gimme if you can get it. Now I might remind people. Do you remember the last Super Bowl that took place in this building?
Which one?
You don't remember which one it was?
Chiefs?
No. No, I don't think so. It was, the last time they had it in San Francisco was 10 years ago, right? Super Bowl 50?
Oh, Broncos and Panthers?
What do you remember of the storylines of that game? I remember one team having an old, washed quarterback, and the other team looking like they were clearly better across the board. They lost.
Folks ain't going to keep being patient with you, Cam Newton.
No. Anything can happen. I feel pretty good. 24-10.
I don't know if people picked up on that line, but there is a Cam Newton clip. There's a couple, but especially that one that has just made its rounds all year, where he's tearing Keon Coleman a new one, and it's got Solo by Future playing in the background, and it's everywhere. I see it every week. He ends it with, "Big dog, you're supposed to be our number one, and you're playing like a bum." His podcast is absurd. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips, but it's absurd.
I have. Who listens to that?
I don't know. I mean, I think all the interaction has to come from those clips, because I don't know who's listening to that podcast.
Yeah, it's like, I'm driving to work. Let me listen to Cam Newton's podcast. It's the same thing with when like Skip Bayless was on Undisputed. It's like, out of all the things I'm going to sit here and watch today, I'm going to watch Undisputed.
Again, it's one thing to watch the clips, but there is no way you're like, I need to get my intake of sports for the day, see what's going on. Watch Undisputed.
Yeah. It's out of business now.
Skip Bayless once spent 20 minutes of a segment talking about why LeBron and Anthony Davis were following Russell Westbrook's wife on Instagram.
The greatest of all time.
I will say, before we wrap up this podcast, so Cal did tell us that he's going to the Super Bowl this weekend, and he ended up deciding he wanted to go. I think he said he's going with Brian Wu. And I didn't get to say this to Cal. I guess we can ask him in a few weeks in spring training. But this man, Brian Wu, is going to be sitting there just preying on the Seahawks' downfall, right?
It's going to be tough for him.
I mean, again, and I'm not going to blame him. He's a big Niner fan. Why would he like the Seahawks? But
he's not going to be the only one.
Yeah, but if he's going, he's definitely going to be sitting there rooting for him to lose.
There are going to be some other Niners fans in the crowd. Like this was what might make it more satisfying this weekend, where you can say to Niner fans, it's like, yeah, the Seahawks won a Super Bowl in your building, like more recently than you, clearly.
Well, they haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 plus years.
Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to frame that, but like winning a Super Bowl in Santa Clara is the ultimate like middle finger to the Niners.
I mean, it would be a hell of a path for the Seahawks if they win this Super Bowl by curb stomping the Niners, exorcising the demons of the Rams, and then putting old legends of the Patriots in the past from a decade ago. I mean, that's a hell of a storybook right there.
That's another reason, I'm glad you brought that up, why I'm confident in the Seahawks this weekend. Like, are we sure the Patriots would have finished top 3 in the NFC West if they played in it? Like,
no.
The Seahawks won the greatest division essentially of all time. For the 3 teams won, I forget how many combined games, but they dominated outside of their own division. Those 3 teams did.
I believe it's either 37 or 38.
Yeah. That's pretty insane. The amount of games those teams won against teams not named each other is insane. And the Seahawks won that and then beat them again in the postseason. Like, beating teams twice in a season is very, very difficult. And the Seahawks were able to beat those teams again at home very impressively. And now they're going to get to play a team for the first time where they're going to have their full playbook available and the better team. So I think they're going to win 24-10. Seahawks stamp it. And I look forward to celebrating.
Parade Wednesday, hopefully.
Let's hope so.
I'll be back next week from the Super Bowl. Can't wait to share all the experiences. And then it's just baseball time, people. We've had a little bit of extra time to talk Seahawks because until the Brendan Donovan trade, there obviously wasn't a ton of Mariner stuff going on in January. And that's why we were tying in the conversation of greatest Seattle sports year ever, possibly. But after this week, it's Mariners time. It's spring training time. Guys are going to be reporting. It's time to rock and roll.
No.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I know, like, we're obviously going to record another episode tomorrow on Wednesday that will come out the Monday after. But as you guys are listening to this on Friday, enjoy this weekend. Have fun. These moments are stuff that us Seattle sports fans don't get to experience very often. So the fact we've gotten the ALCS and a Super Bowl in the same year is insane. It's pretty crazy.
We will not get to do our instant reactions to the game on Monday's podcast because, again, we're recording them a little early, and then I'm going to fly back. If you want to hear us talk our reactions post-Super Bowl, that'll be Wednesday's podcast episode. So stick around.
But pay attention to our social media because if they win on Sunday, you bet your ass I'm going, greatest Seattle sports year of all time!
I'm sure I'll say something like that out at Levi's Stadium.
Oh, good.
I'm sure.
Good.
So,
yeah.
All
Make
right,
sure to give shit to Niner fans.
Yes. Well, good mailbag. As always, you guys always bring it with the questions. They were awesome. If you guys want priority on those questions, like TJ mentioned earlier, go sign up for our Patreon, and you will get your questions answered every week if you ask them. So go check it out. All right, that just about wraps up this edition of the Marine Layer Podcast. You guys know the drill. If you want to listen to the full form podcast, you can do so wherever you get your audio pods. If you're listening, please go download these episodes, rate and review 5 stars. It helps a ton if you do. If you're on YouTube, go hit subscribe. The best way you can support the channel and support us is hitting subscribe on YouTube. And while you're there, drop a like on the video. Leave us a comment. Leave us your Super Bowl score predictions. Leave us your manager rankings. All of it. let us know what you thought about the episode and let us know what some of your responses are to some of the mailbag questions we got. You can check us out at our website, marinelayerpod.com. All our merch is there. Patreon's there. All our episodes are there. We love to see people wearing the merch. So go over to marinelayerpod.com, and then you can find us across social media at marinelayerpod. That's TJ. I'm Lyle. As always, we thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.